In this life, Ying Yuan finally confessed his feelings to Yan Dan. He vowed that in the next life, he wouldn't miss her again. Through a delicate veil, they shared a passionate kiss, while a small butterfly, just emerged from its cocoon, fluttered around them. Yan Dan used this little butterfly to enter Ying Yuan's dream. Inside the dream, he proposed to her, dressed in beautiful wedding attire. They swore their vows to the heavens. Happiness arrived so suddenly, it felt unreal. Yan Dan, who had been pretending to be a simple fairy servant, worried he didn't love her, was completely swept off her feet. But Ying Yuan had already guessed her identity and promised to love her again in their next life. Their blissful life continued, and soon, Yan Dan was pregnant. Ying Yuan treated her like a queen, showering her with care and fulfilling her every wish. After she gave birth to their son, Go Dan, a new challenge emerged. Ying Yuan, it turned out, had a habit of running away from home whenever he got upset. One day, Yan Dan decided she'd had enough and tried to leave with their son. But Ying Yuan caught them just in time, and they had no choice but to stay. The three of them settled back into a life filled with warmth and happiness. But then, Ying Yuan woke up with a start, his body aching all over. He saw Yan Dan dozing by his bedside, and a painful realization washed over him. It had all been a dream. The uncontrollable fire within him flared up again, bringing excruciating pain. Not wanting to hurt Yan Dan, he harshly pushed her out of the room. She banged on the door, crying for him to let her in, but he refused. After a while, a chilling silence fell. Yan Dan, fearing the worst, burst into the room to help him. Ying Yuan fiercely resisted, begging her to leave immediately, even threatening to end his own life. He couldn't bear the thought of her witnessing another separation of life and death. He then presented her with a lotus-shaped incense burner he had carved himself, explaining it would be their last memento. From this day forward, he said, they would never see each other again. Yan Dan's only wish was that he would recognize her in his next life. Otherwise, she would push him off the bridge of no return. Ying Yuan could only offer a bitter, silent smile, knowing he would never open his eyes again. After returning from the edge of the world, a desperate Yan Dan buried herself in ancient texts. She discovered a possible cure. She could save Ying Yuan by cutting out her own heart and refining it into an antidote using the Xuan cauldron. She went to Mayafa Pavilion to retrieve the cauldron, but was caught by her sister, Zhi Xi. Yan Dan confessed everything, how she had disguised herself as a fairy servant to care for Ying Yuan, and her plan to sacrifice her heart to save him. Grateful to Ying Yuan for having saved her life before, and seeing this as an opportunity to advance her own immortal cultivation, she agreed to help. Before leaving, Yan Dan gave Zhi Xi her broken Buli bracelet, asking her to repair it. Unbeknownst to them, Ying Dan was hiding nearby, witnessing the entire exchange.
Yan Dan returned to the edge of the world.
She placed a sleeping powder in the incense burner, putting Ying Yuan into a deep sleep. Then, with a heavy heart, she cut out her own heart, placed it in the cauldron, and poured all her spiritual energy into refining the antidote. Exhausted but determined, she finally succeeded. Though severely weakened, she forced herself to feed the antidote to Ying Yuan, hoping he would wake up soon. She imagined his surprise and joy when he discovered that the little fairy servant and she were the same person. Meanwhile, she calculated that the time was right. She knew Yan Dan would be too weak to care for Ying Yuan after the ordeal, and planned to take her place. She believed that when Ying Yuan woke up, he would be grateful to her. However, as she made her way to the edge of the world, she was intercepted by Ying Dang. Furious that she had stolen from her, Ying Dang attacked with a powerful, heart-piercing drum.
Zhi Xi fought back desperately but was quickly overwhelmed and seriously injured.
Realizing Ying Dang's deep obsession with Ying Yuan, Zhi Xi cunningly revealed that Yan Dan had stolen him away.
Enraged, Ying Dang believed the lie and rushed off to confront Yan Dan. At the same time, heavenly soldiers arrived to retrieve the Xuan cauldron. To protect her sister, Yan Dan disguised herself as Zhi Xi and surrendered the cauldron. The soldiers, believing her to be Zhi Xi, took her away to be punished by heavenly lightning. In another part of the realm, Xuan and Chaolan, having dedicated themselves to cultivation on Shuangxin Cliff, finally achieved human form. Overjoyed with their new bodies, they began to explore completely unaware of the tragic events unfolding elsewhere. Jingdang immediately recognized that Yandan was the one being tortured. Guessing that she didn't want to implicate Zhi Xi, so she took the punishment in Zhi Xi's place.
After diligent cultivation, Yumo finally dared to show himself in broad daylight.
He wanted to find Yandan, but suddenly noticed something unusual about the lotus petal on his wrist. Worried that Yandan was in danger, he was about to rush to her aid when Xuan blocked his path. He was indignant, not expecting that the little black fish Yumo had cultivated into human form before him. Without a word, Xuan attacked Yumo. Yumo was eager to save her and had no intention of fighting. Xuan relentlessly pursued him, forcing Yumo to retaliate, knocking Xuan to the ground before leaving triumphantly. Xuan, still angry, went to Marshal Woad to complain. Yandan took the punishment of 9 bolts of heavenly lightning in place of Zhi. She was struck so hard she was covered in wounds and eventually fainted. Zhi Xi witnessed this from afar, her heart filled with mixed emotions.
Yingdang tried to kill Yandan, but Yumo arrived in time to save her.
He discovered that Yandan's heart had been ripped out, and he felt an indescribable pain in his heart. Fearing exposure, Zhi Xi dared not return to Miao Faje, and went to Dia to seek help from Ying Yuan. Yandan survived the 9 heavenly lightning strikes, but just barely. Covered in wounds, she lay unconscious, while Yumo desperately poured all his spiritual power into healing her. Beside them, Lu Ming cried, completely helpless.
Yandan remained unresponsive.
Meanwhile,
Zhi Xi, wanting to stay by Ying Yuan's side, knew she had to cover her tracks.
She couldn't let him discover she was the one who hurt Yandan. So, she intentionally injured herself, creating the illusion that she had also endured the heavenly lightning punishment. When Ying Yuan woke up, he was groggy, but quickly realized his wounds were completely healed. His first thought was of Yandan. He couldn't help but blame her for being so reckless, for cutting out her own heart just to save him. But then, a fairy servant rushed in with shocking news. It wasn't Yandan who saved him, but her sister, Zhi Xi. She had used half of her lotus heart and was now being punished on the heavenly punishment platform for stealing the Fuxuan cauldron. Without a second thought, Ying Yuan rushed out. He found Zhi Xi, covered in wounds, just as the servant had described. Before he could even ask what happened, she collapsed dramatically at his side. Back in Yumo's care, Yandan finally regained consciousness after his tireless efforts. The first thing she saw was Yumo's face in the clear daylight, a sight she had never witnessed before, and she was overjoyed. But her happiness was short-lived as Yumo and Lu Ming began scolding her for her recklessness, for almost throwing her life away. Yandan, however, had no regrets. For Ying Yuan, she was willing to sacrifice anything. All she wanted now was to see him.
Even though Zhi Xi's injuries and heartbeat mimicked the effects of the heavenly lightning,
Ying Yuan was still convinced that Yandan was his true savior. When he questioned Zhi Xi, she insisted she was the one who had sacrificed half her heart.
Noticing the change in her voice, Ying Yuan grew more suspicious. Zhi Xi quickly fabricated a story,
claiming she had used a spell to alter her voice after seeing him in an embarrassing state at the edge of the world, all to spare him any shame. To further sell her lie, she even produced the repaired Buli bracelet. Still, Ying Yuan wasn't buying it. Meanwhile, trouble was brewing elsewhere. Juan, the Dragon Prince, dragged Chaolan to Marshal Hubo, complaining that Yumo had already achieved human form, but kept it a secret. He accused Yumo of being a demon spy hiding in the heavenly realm. The Marshal, already drained and frustrated, just wanted to get it over with. He was about to strike Yumo 3 times to end the matter when Juan stopped him, demanding to know Yumo's true identity. Cornered, Yumo admitted he had transformed. He explained a bizarre incident where Yandan, while teasing Juan, WS B10BI Himu. She had tossed him aside in surprise, and he had landed directly on top of her, causing an injury that prevented him from returning to his human form until now. Xuan was furious. His pride wounded that Yumo, a mere fish demon, had transformed before him, a dragon prince.
Xuan, having had enough of his tantrum, finally snapped and scolded him harshly.
Annoyed by the whole chaotic scene, Marshal Huo kicked them all out. Dragging her weakened body, Yandan made her way to find Ying Yuan. As she approached, she overheard two immortal servants gossiping. They were talking about how Zhi Xi had saved the emperor with half her heart and endured 9 heavenly lightning strikes as punishment. Yandan froze, her heart sinking. She needed answers. As she reached the door, she saw Zhi Xi holding the Buli bracelet, pledging her loyalty to Ying Yuan.
Heartbroken and unwilling to expose her own sister's lie, Yandan turned and slipped away quietly.
Ying Yuan only caught a fleeting glimpse of her retreating figure. Zhi Xi, having already learned Yandan's story, now knew every detail of what had transpired between Yandan and Ying Yuan in the thatched hut. Wanting to win Ying Yuan's complete trust, she recounted these events flawlessly. But Ying Yuan still felt something was off. In a moment of carelessness, she slipped up and called him Emperor, a formal title Yandan never used. Zhi, she quickly scrambled for an excuse to cover her mistake. Just then, the Emperor's celestial attendant, Qingyun, arrived with a gift for Ying Yuan, the precious snow spirit mushroom. Ying Yuan asked if he had seen Yandan, but Qingyun hadn't, assuming she was off playing somewhere, as usual.
While Yandan was nursing her broken heart, Ying Yuan suddenly appeared before her.
He was shocked to see how badly injured she still was. Trying to hide the truth, Yandan lied, claiming she had overexerted her lotus power to help suppress the Bei Ming immortal lord. Ying Yuan didn't believe a word of it. He was certain she had cut out her heart for him, but Yandan stubbornly refused to admit it. She had seen the way Zhi Xi looked at him and, speaking coldly, she pushed him away, hoping to fulfill her sister's wish. Ying Yuan understood. He realized Yandan wanted him to let Zhi Xi have her moment, so he decided to wait for Zhi Xi to confess on her own. He encouraged Yandan to participate in the upcoming immortal rank examination, but she showed no interest. Just then, Zhi Xi rushed over to find her, and Ying Yuan took the opportunity to leave.
Alone, Yandan finally confronted her sister, asking why she had impersonated her. Zhi Xi spun another lie.
She claimed she had been attacked by Firefly's heart-piercing drum and had barely escaped.
She said she was on her way to Yangsu Heavenly Palace for help when she fainted, and Ying Yuan had mistakenly believed she was his savior.
Terrified of being punished, she confessed, she just went along with the misunderstanding, believing her sister's tale of fear and desperation. Yandan's anger softened. Zhi. She then swore she had no selfish feelings for Ying Yuan, and warned Yandan not to fall in love with him, reminding her that such a path would lead to her doom. Yandan remembered Ying Yuan's own chilling words. If she ever developed feelings for him, he would kill her himself. With a heavy heart, she resolved to bury her love deep inside. Ying Deng, still obsessed with Ying Yuan,
went to Yangsu Heavenly Palace looking for Zhi Xi. Instead,
she found Qingyun and learned that Ying Yuan had sent the snow spirit mushroom to Yandan. Fueled by jealousy, she found Zhi Xi and immediately exposed her lie about being attacked. She twisted the knife, stirring up trouble between the sisters. Zhi. She knew Ying Dong was also in love with Ying Yuan, and wanted Yan Dong Gong. Ying Dong deliberately mentioned the snow spirit mushroom, planting a dark seed in Zhi Xi's mind. Killing Yan Dan was the only way to permanently remove the threat to her position.
Later, the emperor visited Ying Yuan, urging him to focus on the bigger picture and not to disappear without a word again.
Ying Yuan agreed. After a period of painful reflection, Yandan made a final decision.
She would let go of her feelings for Ying Yuan completely.
She gave the snow spirit mushroom to Yumo, hoping it would help restore his strength.
Yumo, learning the truth about Zhi Xi's impersonation, was furious and wanted to defend Yandan. But Yandan stopped him.
She didn't want to expose Zhi Xi, fearing her sister would be severely punished for stealing a magical artifact. Just then, Xiaolan arrived, looking for you, Mo. He introduced her to Yandan, and the two girls hit it off immediately. Their friendly chat was soon interrupted by Xuan, who stormed in, loudly challenging Mo to a fight. And so, the tangled web of love, lies, and loyalty in the heavenly realm grew even more complicated. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow for more.